Hello, and welcome to the This Happened Today in History podcast. I am your host, Mr. Miller. This podcast will cover a number of topics that happened on this date in history. Please visit the podcast webpage at thishappenedtoday.buzzsprout.com. There you can download the notes page, which will help you organize the information as well as develop your own ideas on how these events change the world around us. If you're interested in hearing more, please consider subscribing so you will not miss out on what happens tomorrow in history. Today is May 28th. Historical marker number 2237 in Southgate, Kentucky marks the site of the former Beverly Hills Supper Club, where 165 people died and the building was destroyed by a fire on May 28, 1977. During Prohibition, the towns along the Ohio River in northern Kentucky and southwestern Ohio were known for their speakeasies, gambling sites, and other sin-related activities. Beginning in 1927, the Beverly Hills Supper Club was a popular nightclub and included a backroom illegal gambling parlor. In the 1940s and 1950s, the club was one of the most popular in the region, attracting celebrities such as Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Steve Lawrence. In the early 1960s, the region attempted to clean up the mob-run clubs, including the Beverly Hills. The club closed in the mid-1960s and was left to languish. Richard Schilling purchased the property in 1970 and lavishly refurbished the building, spending more than $3 million in renovations. The Beverly Hills Supper Club reopened in 1971 as a dinner theater. While it lacked a casino, the club became a popular place to host proms, weddings, and celebrate anniversaries. The renovated facility had a number of dining and event spaces named for the decor or motif of the rooms, including zebra, Viennese, garden, and cabaret rooms. On May 28, 1977, the Supper Club's cabaret room featured singer and actor John Davidson. The room was full of patrons, far more than the fire code allowed. In the Zebra Room, a wedding reception ended around 8:30 p.m. The attendees complained that the room was warm and smoky at the time of their departure. The Supper Club employee smelled smoke and opened the Zebra Room just before 9 p.m., feeding the oxygen to a smoldering fire in the ceiling. The fire spread through the building, sparking through the sprawling building as employees urged patrons to flee the building. The rapid spread, overcapacity crowd, lack of power, and blocked exits in the cabaret room led to a panic and ultimately deadly evacuation. The roof of the building collapsed around midnight, and the fire was brought under control around 2 a.m. the next morning. The fire continued to smolder until May 30th. 165 people died in the blaze. Most of the people who died were clustered in the cabaret room. After an investigative team reviewed the evidence, a Campbell County grand jury ruled out the possibility that the fire was set intentionally. Faulty aluminum wiring was eventually cited as a culprit, causing a nationwide movement to improve fire codes. The families of the victims collectively received $30 million in the first class action mass tort lawsuit in the United States history. The site of the Supper Club remained undeveloped until August of 2021, when Ashley Builders Group began construction on an assisted living center, apartments, and homes. The area where a cabaret room once stood will become a memorial fountain honoring the lives of the 165 people who died as a result of the fire. In 2006, San Francisco Giants outfielder Barry Bonds hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball from the Colorado Rockies' Byung-Hyun Kim over the center field fence for his 715th career home run to pass Babe Ruth for the second most home runs in Major League Baseball history. "I knew it was definitely gone," Bonds says afterwards. There was no doubt. The Giants lost the game to San Francisco 6-3. Bonds, who is 41, told reporters that passing Ruth was a great honor and that he had a lot of respect for Babe Ruth and what he's done. On August 7, 2007, Bonds, who was dogged by allegations of performance-enhancing drug use, hit his 756th home run, passing Hank Aaron and becoming Major League Baseball's greatest home run hitter. Bonds finished his career with 762 home runs. Bonds, who retired after the 2007 season, has denied knowingly taking steroids and other banned substances. Teammates and opponents were awed by him surpassing Ruth. "Everyone was waiting for a moment like this," San Francisco shortstop Omar Vizquel told reporters as Giants celebrated with Bonds with champagne in the clubhouse after the game. Colorado center fielder Ryan Spilborough, who had been called up from the minors for the game, said he had goosebumps watching Bonds set the record. 10 years after Bonds passed Hank Aaron, Tom Verducci of Sports Illustrated summed up baseball's complicated relationship with Bonds, writing, "Here we are, 10 years later, and Bonds still has the record for homers and dingers, but he can't enjoy the full authenticity that Ruth and Aaron had." And finally, in 1990, the periodical cicada emergences are composed of 3 distinct species. Some experts consider the 3 species that occur in 13-year emergences as different than the 3 that occur in the 17-year emergence, but others do not. Thus, depending on the expert, there are 6 or 3 species, and each species vary from each other in size, color, and song. These species are further divided into broods, referring to the year and geographical area where they emerge. Some broods are small and cover a limited area, others are very large and emerge across many states about the same time. There's a brood emerging somewhere every year. The periodical cicadas found in Illinois tend to be dark brown and black on top with lighter reddish-brown patterns on the wing bases. The lower body color is similar to the wing bases. Compound eyes are red with orange major veins in the membranous wings. The Northern Illinois brood, which will emerge in late May 2024, has a reputation for the largest emergence of cicadas known anywhere. This is due to the size of the emergence and the research and subsequent reporting over the years by entomologists Monty Lloyd and Henry Dybus at the Field Museum in Chicago. During the 1956 emergence, they counted an average of 311 nymphal emergence holes per square yard of ground in a forested floodplain near Chicago. This translates to 1.5 million cicadas per acre. In upland sites, they recorded 27 emergence holes per square yard, which translates to about 133,000 per acre. This number is more typical of emergence numbers, but is still a tremendous number of insects. For comparison, a city block contains about 3.5 acres. When the cicadas start dying and dropping from the trees later in the spring, there are large numbers on the ground, and the odor from the rotting bodies is noticeable. In the 1990 edition, there were reports from people in Chicago having to use snow shovels to clear their walks of the dead cicadas. You have been listening to the This Happened Today in History podcast. I thank you for listening, and I hope that you have enjoyed learning about historical events from the past. Thank you to the following websites for their information regarding today's topics: thepeoplehistory.com, Beverly Hills Supper Club fire at explorekyhistory.ky.gov, Barry Bonds at history.com, and 17-year cicadas at web.extension.illinois.edu. The music used as the background track for this podcast is Americana, created by Kevin MacLeod on incompetech.com. If you enjoyed this information and would like to hear more, please consider subscribing, as this will keep the historical events in your feed in the morning for each day. I hope you have a great day.